from the beyond and haunting interviews with your cringe-worthy host, Woody G. Watts. Welcome to Hill City Paranormal.
Yes, my name is Jason Gray. I'm from North Alabama. And a few weeks ago, I had a bonfire out back. I kind of live out in the country, so I can build bonfires and shoot guns and stuff, and have friends over. But for some reason, that night, didn't nobody want to come over. And a boy came over to watch the fire, and I haven't seen him in a long time. In fact, I hadn't seen him since his wife passed away, which me and his wife, we used to date. But it didn't have nothing to do with me and him, and his name is Jamie. We've all been friends, but he told me just out of the blue that he got hired by an agency. He never would tell the names of. And he said that he was born and he could move things with his mind, or make things happen with his mind, or cause a reaction with his mind, which is telekinesis. I said, so prove it. Now, I didn't drink anything that night. I don't drink. I'm not an alcoholic, so I did not drink. I was merely tending my fire, and plus I always burn a fire on Halloween night. And I said, what demonstrate? He said, you see that stick in that fire? And he pointed to a stick on the left side of the fire. And keep in mind, the wind wasn't blowing at all on Halloween night where I live at in North Alabama. And he pointed his fingers at it, concentrated for about 30 seconds, kind of wiggled his front two fingers, and sparks flew up in the air. I wrote it off. Well, wood pops. I said, do it again. He blew out his breath. He said, it makes me tired, but I'll do it again. Same thing. He looked at it, concentrated on it, stuck out his arm, wiggled his two fingers. Pop! Sparks go flying in there. I made him do it again. He said, man, come on, you got to believe me by now. I said, man, look, you're telling me you're telekinetic. I said, I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen the 3 times that most people believe, and then one for good measure. No wind that night. He made sparks fly up from it 3 times. I made him do it a 4th time. I started making him do it again, and he said, how about I make the wind blow in that pecan tree up there? I said, man, there ain't no wind tonight. He said, how about that limb? So he pointed his fingers at that limb. He closed his eyes. It took him a second. He did something with his fingers. The wind blew that particular branch back and forth. I made him do that 3 times. And I said, all right, man, I believe you. But I said, how are you doing it? I've read books on vibrations, and we only exist and can see each other because we are all vibrating. I said, are you sending vibrations from your fingers? He said, no, he's working with energy transfer. And he said the company he used to work for paid him $450,000 to transfer his energy to a secret project that he didn't even know about. Well, this guy's homeless. He had $450,000. I'm hired to do it. But I saw him do the tricks. And I told him, I said, man, I have seen people in my backyard that was not there. Meaning, sometimes my vibrations get up and I think people appear. These people had red belts on. There was two of them. And I told him about the night I saw the people with the red belts. He said the people with the red belts are the people that he had to deal with. He said those red belts are controlling their frequency. Their frequency. And that's how they communicate. And he said he didn't realize I was so versed on this. Well, I've been reading books on the paranormal now for 12, 15 years, and I know about vibrations. Don't know too much about chakras. I'm trying to learn astral projection. He talked about power transfer. It was real spooky. And before he left, he summoned one of those people with the red buttons on their belt. He said they were his employers. Just for spite, he called one. The belt guy noticed my presence and took Jamie off for what seemed like instantaneous to me was 4 hours for him. He said they interrogated him and tortured him, wanting to know why. He would tell me, and I think they told him I had a little bit of ability. I was checking the mail one morning at about 5 a.m. I saw above the pear tree beyond my mailbox an orb. Now, this pear tree is about 75 foot tall. At first I thought street lamp, but this is out in the middle of the field. Second I think was helicopter. Again, no noise. This light was above the pear tree in the center, and only half of it was lit, but it was rotating. I say half, it was more of a crescent, but it wasn't a circle. It was pear-shaped, orange light revolving around. I saw it. I don't know how long it'd been there, but I counted to a count of 5, and it was gone. And I've seen the red-belted guys twice more. There's always 2 of them. And I notice it's always when my vibration is up, when I'm excited, when I'm hyper. I'm 44. And I see them. And they're either studying me, but they've already put him to work, Jamie, but they're studying me because I'm learning. I study on how to transfer energy and use my chakras and how to have vivid dreams or dream walk or whatever, lucid dreams. Also, I have a feeling that they are seen only when they want to be seen. That they're watching specific people who can control energy, control their own energy, control their own vibrations. Because the people who can do that have abilities that, if trained, can be very dangerous or can be used for good. When I see the men with the red lights, I don't feel any hatred coming off of them. I feel cold purpose intent. I feel like they want me, but I'm not there yet. Apparently they wanted my friend Jamie because he can make fire spark and wind blow on certain limbs on a windless night. He came to hang out with me the very next weekend after all that, and I didn't want to hang out with him because this is serious for me. And I want answers. I don't want to know if anybody else has seen this. I've read one book, The Celestine Prophecies. They touched on shit like this. I've also read Robert Monroe. He's fantastical, but he's touched on stuff like this. I read another book that was fantastical at the time on remote viewing, and it sounds a lot like what my friend Jamie does, but I feel like I'm learning, but I don't have the right teacher, and I'm going to mess up and get myself hurt. Because the Freemasons say keep your cord tight. I don't know how to do that. The spiritual cord that connects your soul to your body, or your body to the spirit world.
Be sure to check out our website at hillcityparanormal.com and call our haunted hotline at 701-HAUNTED or 701-428-6833 with your spooky tale. Thank you for listening to Hill City Paranormal.